Do you have a child who has difficulty making friends? What we're talking about is a child who feels alone and disconnected from other people, which is an unbearably painful condition. It's not just a little shy, a little problem. It's unbearably painful. It's also embarrassing for a child to admit. So it's not likely that he'll talk to you freely about it. He or she does not feel worthwhile or confident. Not a small thing. When children feel small and insignificant, they don't try new things. They tend to isolate themselves. They beat themselves up when they make mistakes. And they don't do well at making friends. It's all part of a much bigger picture than just about friends. It can be, in fact, crippling. And oh, how you want to be able to help your child, but you just don't know what to do. I'm here to tell you that there is a solution. And we're not talking about minimizing the problem, which is not nearly enough. We're talking about eliminating it. Imagine watching your child's confidence and happiness steadily grow. You are the most important factor in making this possible. Welcome to the answers you've been hoping for. For a long time now, you've been looking for ways to help your child, and I greatly admire what you're doing right now. You're looking for answers. You're trying to love your child, which is way more than most parents do. And finally, you're in the right place. It's like you've been paddling around in the middle of the ocean, desperately looking for help, and now, almost unbelievably, it's here. This is the ship you've been looking for in the middle of the ocean. Now, how could I possibly make such an extravagant promise? Because I know how to teach parents how to help their children feel more worthwhile, to the point that they can begin to be happy and to connect to the people around them, which means making friends. What I teach has been used by uncounted thousands of parents, and it works consistently. I'm not trying to sell you something here that we're going to do. You get to see it right now. You don't have to wait. The training begins right now. In the next few seconds, in fact, I'll be teaching you things about your children and yourselves that you've never known. What a relief to know that right now you're exactly where you've wanted to be. You can learn what you need to learn. Finally, you can feel encouraged. You can feel even hope. You can help your child, and I'm going to help you do that. You wouldn't be here unless two things were true. You have a child who is lacking in confidence and the ability to easily make friends. And two, you care enough to do something about it. Remarkable. I know you've tried to help already. You've encouraged your child, you've counseled, you've praised them. Oh, but you're such a great kid. Maybe even tried counseling. But your child still shrinks from risk and anything unfamiliar. So he or she isolates from other people. They're what people call quiet or shy. But really, that just means sad and alone. They don't know how to connect to people. And you are frustrated and tired. You've been looking for something that works, and here it is. Principles that have proven to work hundreds of thousands of times all over the world. If people are thoroughly committed to learning and practicing what I'm going to share with you, predictably, I see children stop hiding from the world. Stop being afraid to take risks. The fear just goes away. And instead, they become happy and connected. Even after everything else has failed, you become pretty happy too. It is not hopeless. I'm here to help you, and I'll be using the insight and experience of counseling with thousands of parents and from writing 20 books and endless articles on the subject, as well as appearing on 1,600 radio and television shows and presenting seminars all around the world and more. You are about to change the world around you, and you don't have to do it alone, which is miserable and frustrating. You've already proven that with your own experience. So now, the question that has to be on your mind: what am I going to teach you that you don't already know? What am I going to say that you haven't already read or heard somewhere else? This is going to be revolutionary for you to hear. So slow down your brain and listen with your soul. What does a child need more than anything else? Oh, how we don't ask that question enough. After food, water, and air, the answer is actually glaringly obvious, and yet we keep missing it over and over. To see the answer more clearly, let's start with an infant. When an infant cries, other than from obvious physical pain, what does he want? Well, intuitively, you already know, because you just pick him up. You're pretty smart. You already know that every child wants to feel cared for. Every child wants to feel loved. Picking them up and holding them is just a demonstration of that. And if you're genuine in caring about them, they feel it. But infants are relatively easy to love. They smile and melt your heart, make cute little noises. They laugh in ways that we never hear anywhere else. They're adorable. But then they get older. They learn to spill things, make messes, say no ferociously when you tell them what to do, scream in their car seat, fight with their siblings, refuse to listen to you, say ugly and hateful things to you and other people, and they become afraid and lack self-worth, and more they become distant from you and others. They become a lot harder to love, to get close to. And when that happens, we don't know what to do. Usually we try to control their behavior, and that might temporarily succeed, but it doesn't last. And we end up with kids who still lack self-confidence and happiness and connection with other people. We're not so happy either. Let me say this another way. If our children become more difficult to love as their behavior changes, that proves that we don't know how to love them unconditionally. If we did love them unconditionally, we'd love them no matter what. But if loving becomes more difficult when they withdraw in fear, for example, or resist us, or disconnect from not just us, but from friends, from everybody, if that's more difficult for us to accept and becomes more difficult for us to love them, then our love is conditional. Unconditional love, or what I call real love, means caring about another person without wanting anything from them in return. Oh, but we do expect something in return from our children for the love that we give them. Respect, cooperation, gratitude, and reasonable behavior, including some measure of confidence and happiness and an ability to connect with other people, along with overall participation with life. Now, more about unconditional love. That kind of love would mean that our love would not be affected by what they do. That's what unconditional love means. But we really don't know how to do that. How do I know? We prove it every time we become angry or disappointed or impatient or irritated at them. Our anger and disappointment and frustration are undeniable proof that our love is not unconditional. Deep inside, you know what I'm saying is true. You can feel it. But let me demonstrate further. When other people are angry at you, do you like it? Never. You don't. Nobody does. When other people are angry at us, or when we're angry at other people, we're all saying, look at what you did to me, or failed to do for me. When we're angry, we are utterly focused on ourselves, me. And in that moment, other people, notably our children, hear us say only 4 words: I don't love you. When we're angry, we're far too occupied with ourselves to unconditionally love anybody. I repeat, when we are angry at another person, including our child, they hear only, I don't love you. I promise you that this is true. And no, we don't mean to say that, but what else could people hear while our words, tone, and behavior are screaming, me, me, me? I don't love you is what you hear and feel when people are angry at you. Think about that, honestly. And it's what our children hear and feel when we're angry at them. Again, we do not mean to do this. We do not mean to hurt our children. Ridiculous. But it was inevitable because we were not loved unconditionally, which means being consistently loved without disappointment or anger, being loved freely with no conditions. So how could we possibly have learned how to unconditionally love our own children? Impossible. And there's nobody to blame. Our ignorance of real love has simply perpetuated over generations. We don't know how to love unconditionally because we've never seen it or felt it with any consistency. For emphasis, I'm going to say all of this in a slightly different way. When children behave in fear, when they have little or no sense of worth or ability to connect to other people, like making friends, it is always a reaction to them not feeling loved unconditionally, loved with no disappointment, irritation, frustration, or anger. That could sound a little discouraging, even bleak. Well, overall, it is bleak. Look at the world, at the utter obsession with things that are distractions from our pain, from our not feeling loved, like endless entertainment, addiction to electronics, anger, controlling people, drugs, alcohol, sex, and on and on. There is the proof that overall, we don't know how to love people unconditionally. If we did, and I speak here with vast experience, all of those behaviors I just listed and more would not exist. I've been teaching unconditional love now for so many years to so many parents that I can tell you this with complete certainty. When a child truly feels loved unconditionally, he or she does not lack for self-confidence or self-esteem. They are not afraid of connecting with other people. They don't have difficulty making friends. Instead, they're happy and responsible and confident and can make friends and all those qualities you wish they had. With sufficient love, there is simply no reason to lack self-esteem or to isolate from other people. Happy people don't do those things. Period. Done. So that is what I'll be teaching you. How to love your children unconditionally, which then gives them a reason to finally listen to you. How many times have you wondered in your head, why does this child never listen to me? Well, there's an answer, and here it is. Because when you're irritated, your child hears only, I don't love you. And that is so devastating that he or she hears none of the rest of the content of what you say. If you love them unconditionally, they can hear you, what you're really saying, because they're not distracted by their fear, not blinded and deafened by the I don't love you message. Then it becomes possible for you to teach them, well, anything, like how to be loving and responsible themselves, how to connect to other people, how to make friends. And if they have that powerful trifecta, they feel loved, and they are loving and responsible, they are guaranteed to be happy, which is the ultimate goal for any parent or, frankly, any person. Your children can learn that being happy and confident and connecting to people, you, friends, is a natural result of feeling loved and is, well, pretty great. Take my hand and we'll talk about what you can do and how I will support you. It will almost be like starting over as a parent. You're going to learn how to become a real parent. And your child will learn the lessons of life that will benefit him or her for the rest of their lives. If you implement what you learn here, and if you do it consistently, you simply will not believe the differences you will see in your child and in you and in your family. Imagine it. No more shrinking from unfamiliar tasks or social situations on the part of your child. No more fearful words. No more isolating. No more very visible shyness is what we call it, but it's worse than that. No more tension in the family. It's astonishing to see and to feel. Our children are not defective. They're not bad. We're not bad. We just have not known how to love and teach them. What we're doing with our kids now is not working. Loving and teaching them does. Rarely is it too late to change whatever unproductive behaviors you're dealing with. Not if you're really willing to learn and to apply these principles to the interactions with your child. I can promise you, learning how to be a real parent is worth it. We're about to learn how to eliminate the behaviors in your children that are hurting them and making you a little crazy. Really. I make you another promise. Learning how to be a loving, effective parent is easier than everything else you've done as a parent so far. We're really going to get into this. This is not a casual effort. We're not looking to make your children more manageable as though they were objects. That's not even close to being enough. Our mission is to help you become a powerful and effective parent and to help your child feel loved and to be loving, responsible, and as a result, genuinely happy. It's a transformation. If you are truly committed to learning how to parent, I'm fully committed to teach you. And I will bring resources to the table you never thought about. The rewards are spectacular, as we have seen in uncounted thousands of families. There is not a single thing you will ever do that will ring through the ages more powerfully than being a loving and effective parent. You can do this. So let's learn some more. Let's get started. Click the button below. It's free to begin transforming your life as a ridiculously effective parent.